Hello, everybody.
Diversity.
How y'all doing?
Hi, guys.
Oh, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it.
Welcome to boroughcon. How cool is this?
Queens represent.
Represent.
Jamaica.
Who's from Queens?
Awesome.
Nice.
Who's from New
Everybody.
Jersey?
All right.
Jersey. Right? Where you from?
Marlboro.
Marlboro. I don't know Marlboro. Where are you from? East Brunswick. I know New Jersey. Right? I'm from like South Orange, Short Hills.
Listen, Toronto. Yeah!
Great
It's great delight.
It's great delight.
With her lunch,
She's brought some.
she's hungry. She's sitting down with lunch.
Gonna eat some tortellini
Watch her eat it.
with shit in her teeth.
With shit in her teeth.
With shit in her teeth.
Nothing. Hey,
We're
girl.
waiting.
Beautiful.
Yay.
Looks good.
I do need to buy it.
Any questions?
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about women, ladies. I use the term
Ladies.
loosely.
Ladies.
NVO.
NBO. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
There's only
There's
4
only
ladies
4.
in VO. We're
We're the
exhausted.
Because we killed Tara Strong. There's now
She's in my
only 4.
trunk. That's my girl. We grew up together in Toronto.
Toronto.
All right. Anybody got any questions?
Do you know?
You.
Do y'all know who we are?
Yeah.
What we do? Or should we introduce ourselves? Why don't we introduce ourselves?
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mary. That's fine.
See, not everybody knows.
Yeah.
You do have a rebel for a hat with the stats.
That hat is no joke. That has the tits, girl.
It's amazing.
I love it.
All right, I should do this first. I'll do this first. I'm Sarah Natochenny. I play the voice of Ash Ketchum on Pokemon. Ash Ketchum all. I think that was the fun, yeah. I play his mom as well. I play Chansey, Veneering, Starly, Starivy, Star Actor. Grievous. I'm a star. I hate that. And I have a bunch of other cartoons too, you know. I'm a New Yorker, yeah, I'm a native New Yorker. Mike's Nicholas with 4 kids. Oh, yeah? Hey! Yeah, oh, well, at his own studio at NYU. Oh, at NYU, yes. Yay. Yeah. I love him. I'm Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and I was born in Jersey. What? And I left quickly, and at a young age, and headed west to find Bruce Jenner. And no, I love the '84 Olympics, and I was just ever since then I was sort of became fascinated with wrestling. Plus, I wanted to be on Star Trek, and I was, which was fun. And I do a lot of anime. I used to do a lot of anime. Now I'm directing a lot of these stuff with these ladies in it for Disney and stuff. And I'm a Star Wars Rebels. You're all Rebel Scum. Line up, and I'll kill you later. Love you. Mwah.
Hello there. My name is Cree Summer. And not Summers. Yeah, that's what they put on the poster.
Suzanne.
That's Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Let's see. I've been doing cartoons since I was about 11 years old. I started with Penny from Inspector Gadget. Yay! And let's see. El Magua from Tiny Toons. I'm gonna love you, hug you, and squeeze you, and play funeral puppy. And, let's see what else. Susie Carmichael, Valerie Gray, Max from Batman Beyond, and now I'm playing the Witch Hagar on Voltron, and Hagar on Croods, and Nebula on Guardians of the Galaxy.
And one giant old lady on Pen Zero.
I'm giant old lady. I'm Pen Zero. We do play Dilly Grandmas. Now yeah. We were grandma, and it was so good. That's right, we did the knitting round. It actually was good. Yeah. All right, whip it out. I'm Gray Delilah Griffin. I've been married a lot of times, so it's like Gray Delilah. It was like Gray Van Osprey, then it was like Gray Delisle, which is my first husband's name, so it's not even my real name. Then I got married to a Hammond, didn't take his name, had a kid. Then I got divorced, and then now I married a Griffin. And then I went back to Delisle, then I married a Griffin, so now I'm like Gray Delisle Griffin. I don't know, my friend's like, you know what?
I swear, whenever I have to like call you in for this show that we're working on now that we can't talk about yet, and it's just like, great, what does she go under?
Well, but just told a whole room of people while you're at your panel about that show, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I told her like, I don't think he's even talking about that show. That's all right. I'm usually the biggest mouth. I'm the biggest mouth. I got like a text from our creator of the show because I said, and we're doing another one. Like I'm telling you, like 5 minutes later. That's how good Twitter is. Like 5 minutes later, he's like, Ray, are you telling people at some con that we're doing it? And I was like, oh no. I just lied to him. Anyway,
Don't tell.
No, don't tell. Some weird dreams with Annie Tantum. Okay, anyway.
What?
Wait, what?
No. It was just when we were doing that little teaser thing that was already on the Bunsen and the Beast thing, like that they were talking about that, and I knew about it. We'd just done it, and I told somebody that at a con, and then Butch texted me like, "Are you telling people about the thing?" I was like, "No." Annie's tampon. It's a little bit bloody.
I heard Annie's
It's
tampon.
a little gruesome. But,
She's a little twitchy every now and then, but just for a little while.
I play Daphne on Scooby-Doo since you guys have been born. Well, jeepers, you guys. I mean, I took over the role like in 1997, and you guys were probably like born then. And I was Frankie on Foster's, who sounds a lot like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. And I was Emily Elizabeth from Clifford when you guys were little. Clifford, yes. And then, oh yeah, she was Cleo. Remember that? She was Cleo on that show. And Daphne sounds, I'm sorry, and Emily Elizabeth sounds just like Wubsy on Wow Wow Wubsy. And I really only do 4 voices. Some of them have lisps.
That's not true, because we can't talk about 2 of them that I'm directing you on that don't sound like any of those people you just did.
And I did Azula on Avatar, which I think a lot of people. And my silly brother's here trying to usurp my throne. How dare he? Sam, man, like, go Ghost, you guys. Like, everybody wishes we need to do a sequel to that, like a full-on, like, Dan Phantom. He's all grown up and he and I are married. Yeah. And Vicky on the Fairly Odd Parents. Get out of here, twerps. Anyway. And Mandy, whatever. There would be some idiot like Billy out there talking about Mandy. And the Loud House. Watch the Loud House. It's a really good show.
I love that show.
I say don't.
So it's weird, because like we work on shows that they announce, but then they don't announce the full cast.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden there's like, hey, there's a new, but you've only announced the lead woman and the lead guy, the 2 celebrities, and the rest of us are like, can we talk about it?
Yeah. I was like, they're the ones who are tweeting it. I just retweeted it. I started the tweeting. I'm just retweeting. No publicity, please. Then don't put it on Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
All right, let's open it to the field, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. So, was there ever a character that, like, at first glance, you saw the design of the character and you were like, oh, this is gonna be attacked immediately by like feminist people or out there, and then when you actually played the character and you were like, well, wait a minute, hold on, what this is actually an interesting character. So like for example, Mary Mutoko Kusanagi. Yeah. You look at the design for her and you're like, and she's like parading in just leotards and
I have that body, I parade in leotards too, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's all a shaving issue, though. I mean, that outfit, there's a lot of shaving involved, which is too much of a pain in the front. some on-camera stuff where I always played the battered woman, you know, and it wasn't until I started playing Mochiko Kusanagi that I was like, oh, there are strong women to be portrayed, that's nice, you know. I get to do the beating up this time, I don't have to be, you know, this abused woman, which is sort of a running theme for a long time. And it taught me a lot about myself and about how I can stand up for myself, which I thought was pretty fantastic. And she also happened to like little girls too, so what's wrong with that? In terms of her, you know, I mean, she was sort of this crazy character, and it was interesting. It was a really interesting character to play. I don't know, I think we probably end up doing a bit of justification in our minds sometimes, depending on what characters we play. You know, I played Governor Price in Star Wars, and there's nothing redeeming about her whatsoever. I've asked Dave Filoni, he said, no, Mary. There's nothing redeeming. She just wants power. That's it. Just power. Just wants power. Thrawn likes art. She just wants power. I was like, okay. So I'll find something to justify that she becomes an actual good person in my mind. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys know?
I guess defoxy could be, offensive. I guess you might think she's offensive. But I don't think feminists watch cartoons. I'm a feminist and I love cartoons. But I don't know, I think cartoons are kind of that's one of the things I think all of us love about cartoons, is that it's not that we're not held to the same standard, it's just that it is a platform where you get to get away with things maybe you couldn't otherwise, and I think that's the reason that you don't usually hear about a lot of people up in arms about cartoons. Cartoons usually just make you, they usually just make you feel good. And that's why we do them, and that's why you guys love.
I love auditioning for a character, like a lot of times, I haven't done a ton of anime, just like a tiny bit. But I remember one character I was auditioning for, they're like, she's a warrior, she's really strong, she's a strong character. She's in a G-string.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, and I was like, this is the line's like, let's get him or something. And I'm like, let's get him. And they're like, but it's like a little bit like small.
Sexier.
And I'm like, let's get him. And they're like, but a little bit like younger. And I'm like, let's get him. And then they're like, can you do it? And pretty soon I mean like this strong warrior.
Yeah.
Like, let's get him.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
So empowering. So empowering.
She's a 2-year-old voice. Her voice is 2 years old. Her body.
But her
is
tits
strong.
are 22. Any more?
Is there any particular character all you want to play at any time?
At the same time.
That's such a cool question.
That is alright.
How would we know?
Well, I went up against Vanessa Marshall, my really good friend who plays Irwin on. I love her. Like we love Vanessa Marshall. She's also like on Clone Wars. She's like tons of.
Yeah, she plays Gamora she plays my sister in Guardians.
Yeah. Anyway, well, she's my Irwin. She's Mandy's boyfriend well, at least he thinks so. But anyway, we both wanted the part of Mary Jane on Spider-Man. I can't. You guys are laughing me out of the building if I ask me something about Star Wars. I won't know. And I just found out that my character was a Mandalorian, one of my characters, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, you've been playing that character forever. Anyway, the bounty hunter, Mandalorian. I didn't know. Okay, I never see it. But I know. I've never even seen the Avatar scenes where me and Katara fight and all that. I've never seen it. I've never seen Avatar. So don't ask me any
Don't ask me any questions about how I make my living.
I'm a heartbreaker.
Episode 4.
Thanks for coming.
I know. Yeah, that was like, you're a jerk. No, but anyway, so we both wanted Mary Jane, and we got down to just she and I, and it was kind of funny, because I was like, I don't know, Mary Jane, and so she ended up getting it, and I was really happy for her, because she's a redhead, she's perfect for the part.
Whatever.
But the funny
I was
thing,
so happy.
I was a little lesser bar. I did put something in her drink. I was like, maybe she'll be not feeling well. No, but then the funniest thing happened, because they were like, oh great, we're sorry you couldn't have that. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's great, I love Vanessa. And they're like, well, we gave you this cheerleader. It's like one line. I was like, okay, great. But it was like the Sally Averill character in one of the iterations of Spider-Man.
But I just made it kind of like, I made her like this, like really like little New York kind of girl, and she was like, oh, Spider-Man, what are you doing?
She was just like mean to him, and she said these like mean one line. I added in like all these insulting like things that she said. They're like, oh yeah, do some more insults, and I was like, yeah. They wrote Sally Averill into every episode. Of 20 episodos, Vanessa was in like 3 episodes, and she was like, "What, Gray? Your stupid little one-liner part." And it was great too because I would go and like do my line and then go home. Same amount of money.
Did Jess complain about that show because he used to go in and do his phone work?
Yeah.
Oh, and Jess is not like, I go in, I do 2 lines, I go home.
Yeah.
He comes in on pen 0, I got 2 lines as old man, and I leave. And that's my job.
Yeah.
This new one is like,
Oh, God bless him.
Yes.
And when other actors don't show up, I was like, Jess, you can scratch that for us.
Oh my gosh, I know you did. Well, when I was little, I was a child actor, and I would do theater, and I would like literally count my lines. Like I was so excited to have like I got 12 lines, you know. And then sometimes they would re-block it or something. And they're like, you know what? Don't say that. We're gonna give up to so and so. And I was like, yeah, what did I do to somebody else? What did I do? What did I do? Yeah, now I'm like, who wants my lines? As long as I have one.
I'm not there quite yet. I still want all my lines.
Yes. But I think, you know what I'd like to just talk about something Gray said, because I think it's really cool for anybody who's interested in voiceover, is that, we do get to do a lot of ad-libbing, which is very different sometimes, unless you're in comedy on camera, very different than what you get to do on camera. And we do get to really embody and create these characters ourselves. So you do find yourself, whether it gets in or not is another story, but we ad-lib a lot, and you'd be surprised how many characters have been altered or changed or expanded because of those little moments where you let yourself be free. And I think some people sometimes get scared to ad-lib or scared to play because you might think you're making a mistake or sound silly or offend a writer. But the truth is, you are wanted to embody that character and become that character, and you never know what can come of that. And most important, never be afraid to look silly or make a mistake, because that's some of our best work.
Yeah, some on-camera people, like pretty girls come in and they're just afraid to look foolish or look,
Because you don't make a pretty face when you're doing old lady voice like this. You just have to make a weird face,
and they just can't. And I know that they're like, I want to do a funny voice, but like I'm not used to not looking great all the time. And I just think that you just have to be willing to make a fool out of yourself.
Unfortunately, that's the fastest way to get recast. It's true, if you go in there and you're sort of inhibited and you're afraid of failing, then they'll say, okay, well, you gave us this much, which was wonderful, but we need this much, and things that we don't expect, which is really sort of an amazing thing about the industry, is to come in and just improvise. I encourage anybody that's like, I want to get into voiceover, it's like, I want to be an actor, improv, take improv, take improv, take improv, because everything stems from you, and it all comes from you, and your truth, and who you are on the inside. And the best way to find that is to get out there and play, right? You gotta play. The whole world is a sandbox. You can play and you can poop. I highly recommend doing both as often as possible.
Another thing for people who are out there interested in getting into voiceover is make sure you know what you sound like. I talk to so many people who want to do voiceover, they don't even know what the sound of their own voice is. You're hanging out with some of the recorders and they go, oh, that's what I sound like? And listen, that's the most important thing, is what you sound like. So I would recommend, maybe getting a book or a poem and reading aloud a little bit and getting really comfortable with the sound of your own voice, because you can't manipulate something that you don't know the sound of,
You have to learn the rules briefly. I'm sorry, we were going to let you talk at one point.
Yeah.
For me?
But not right now. But not right now.
I got nothing. I'm actually just a spectator. I thought I'd just sit up here because it's a better view. Because I like girls, they're so happy. We're in New York, right?
We love you, Sarah.
What was I saying? I don't know. Oh God, do you think I'm so quiet? You learn to at least like it, I guess, so that you can listen back to it and figure out where you kind of like fit in and anything, and modulate it as much as you can. Figure out like where your little quirks are, and you know everything that's been going on here. That doesn't happen by accident. I mean, it can happen by accident, but it won't happen if you don't try it. And
sometimes bad impressions
oh,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Dee Baker talks a lot about the alchemy of voice acting, which is, you know, you've got a whole wall of files of like Christopher Walken and Charles Manson. What? Charles Manson. I don't even know what Charlie sounds like. He was a heck of a singer, though. That Charlie.
What a talent.
You know, and just start to like take little bits and pieces from all different things, and you build up a wall of bottles, a potion wall of voices.
Yeah.
And
people just have 1 2-liter.
Yeah, like and that's fine. Because, you know, you can still add a little bit of flavor and color to just a little bit that you have, you know. I don't have the biggest range in the world, but I have fun playing with what I do, you know, and that's awesome.
Nuance is everything.
Yeah. It's not, you know, I think that another thing that people get caught up in is like, I don't have enough voices. Well, you know, you don't have to have a lot of different voices, but what you do have to have is some acting ability. Because if you can act, then you can intend and imply and make an impression that you cannot make if you just got a bunch of voices. A bunch of voices ain't going to do it. But, you know, that's another thing I think sometimes people forget, that we are actors first and foremost. Yes, we manipulate our voices, but we're acting intently skilled.
When people say like it's so offensive. If you've ever done it, where they're like, "Oh, are you doing any acting though?" And it's like, "Yes, every day, all day."
Anyway, here we are. Like on-camera celebrities will come in and they've never been behind a mic, ever, you know, and it's just, and all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I can't rely on that fabulous eyebrow raise, my arched eyebrow that I have, or that great little smolder that I do looking at you with my eyes. I'm like, you gotta put that smolder in your voice. That's a whole different skill set, you know, and it's a really wonderful and specific skill set, you know. I can't get out there and do what like Scarlett Johansson does with the flipping and the beating and everything else. I can't. But I can do what I can do, which is kind of amazing. It's a very specific skill set to come in.
I was just gonna bring her up, poor Scarlett. But when she did SpongeBob, her character was like very like, it just didn't pop with all these like really big character voices that were on the SpongeBob movie. She played the little Princess Mermaid, and it was just very like, it just seemed very wooden to me. Even though I know she's a really good actress, it just like she was relying on all the other things, hoping it would come across on the microphone. It just doesn't come across.
And I think that has to do with learn how you sound, because you may think you're getting out there and giving a very dramatic animated read. Well, that's kind of how this sort of working there. You know, so you're internalizing everything and realize that you've got to pull it out of yourself and lift it off the page and make it real, make it sound real, even if you are playing a tiny little princess under the sea, you know, who's in love with SpongeBob.
And some people just have a weird voice and they think they should do voiceovers, but it's like we can do, like I go to, I don't like to do it, but when I really need money, sometimes I go to those voiceover classes where I just listen to people, and some of them are really terrible. And you know, and you have to like be, you know, you're trying to think like, what can I say to this person, you know? And there was one girl,
She just kind of talked a little bit like that, and she, you know,
but that was like her voice, and you know, but she couldn't act at all. And afterwards, she was like, but everybody tells me I can do voiceovers. But I was thinking, I know everyone I work with can do your voice and act, and so if you're just do that voice, then you can. Also, people are really cheap, and they can get you for they get, you know, for the same price, they get you for 3 voices. So they're, you know, they like to hire people that they can like save money on. Like, oh, we want to hire the lady who can do the little boy and do the sister and do the mom, and then we save a bunch of money. We can cast 3 people and have our whole show done. So,
but if all you can do is this voice, then
you know, it's like very limited. You know, so I feel like I don't waste money taking a voiceover class just because they have a strange voice, and I just want to go, no, you just have a strange voice. I'm sorry. Anyway. I'm not going to come across well after this. People are going to be like, Grace. Yeah. No, a lot of people don't want to. I don't. Yeah, I know. I don't want to hear things that I don't want to hear either. Like, when people lose weight, I'm always like, how did you do it? And then they're like, exercise and diet. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, no, I want to. Would you listen do all the bad things, like drink lattes and stuff beforehand. And I have been on panels with people that are like, I do this specific exercise. I'm like, you are so full of shit. You do not. I was like, I work with you all the time. I'm like, and I'm like, no, you're not.
I'm so happy to hear you say that.
I have them like that.
Thank you. Thank you. That is true. If there's a role where I know I have to talk really, really fast, it's because an audition especially, and I want to get it perfect, and I'm screwed up or anything, I do the red leather, yellow leather, and I just do a bunch of little tongue twisters, and until I get them perfect, and then I'm like, okay, I'm confident, I can read this, and then I go in and I don't screw up. That's about it. Yeah, I find I get halfway towards a session, I was like, oh crap, I didn't warm up. Oh well. So I'll just sing a little bit, Singing is really good. Now, my
Cigarette and Jack Daniels.
Oh, honey. It's the old days, yes.
But I mean, listen, I gotta maintain this dirt.
Well, Pavarotti used
old dirt road that
Pavarotti used to smoke a cigarette before each performance.
Yeah, I believe
because
it.
It actually, they put
Well, it
chemical
does
or something in
relax
tobacco that opens up the vocal cords and actually opens up everything so that the next cigarette you get the nicotine and you are hooked.
Baby.
But if
That's
you
the worst answer. That's not the answer you
I know.
want. We're such assholes. Is this the asshole panel?
You can start first thing in the morning with just a little, it vibrates the cords, gets things moving. Try not to drink a lot of milk. Coffee's really bad for you, for your voice. What else? You should hum an octave, hum up and down the octave, just to warm up your voice in the morning. Blow out your lips, get those all warmed up. Warm water with honey, not with lemon. Lemon strips the vocal cords. Yeah. So honey, very good. I can give you a shit ton of stuff. I got an MFA in acting. But do I use any of this crap now? No. As a director, I use everything. But as an actor, I find that, and they always said this in grad school, they were just like, eventually, I need you to learn all of this. And then forget it. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is that? And now I understand it. You do. You really do. Because after a while, you rely on your instinct. And so you get good enough at all this stuff that you learn how to do. It's like playing guitar. You don't, after a while, if you're that good a guitarist, you don't, say, click, 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 first, second, third, it's just, it comes naturally after a while. So hopefully you can get, you go through all of this stuff and all of these exercises and everything else. So after a while, you just forget about it and just rely on your own. It's basically all enough exercises to trust yourself and confidence in your instincts. Also, if you're sticky in the mouth and it's an emergency, eat an apple. Green apples, potato chips, or pineapple. Anything that gets the saliva going. Yeah. I prefer the potato chips, but I'm Irish in New Jersey, so whatever. I didn't know the potato chips. We're moving to Hawaii, I'll switch to pineapple. Till then, I'm freaking potato chips. Oh, you're all gonna come and stay. Oh yeah. You know that. We're putting up a Google Calendar. I know. I hate you, but I'm gonna come and live with you in Hawaii because you're in Hawaii.
That friend that checks in with you like once a year in Hawaii, like, hey, we haven't talked in years. All right, no, I'm gonna keep it every week. I'm gonna be like, are you okay? Because I've been your friend every week now for 3 years. Every week. Who really cares?
You know what I will say? I will say that I think Susie Carmichael from Rugrats had a big effect in retrospect. Because that came, I think, what was that, like 20 years ago? And now I see so many younger girls that are, teenagers or in their early 20s that just love Susie. And also I think at that time they just weren't seeing a lot of little brown girls in animation. And, and I know what I'm talking about because I play all the little brown girls. Right? And the truth is, there is not always a little brown boy, let alone a little brown girl in a cartoon. And and even in Rugrats when Susie was introduced, the beautiful thing about that, it was her whole family. And they were just beautiful people, educated people, kind, thoughtful people. And so I think in that sense, that's probably the cartoon that just makes me really proud, And then I guess all of them, because when you're representing such a a small fraction of what gets to be seen, they all become important, you know. But yeah, Susie was very special. She was such a decent human being.
About that, the thing of, you know, people of color in cartoons, I've been all beige people, you know, because I'm part Mexican, so anytime there was a Latin girl character, I played a lot of those. And it's amazing how the networks, because we did El Tigre on Nickelodeon.
I was Frida Suarez. I was the one with the guitar.
And I wrote all those songs. It was so funny. I wrote all those songs because I thought that, well, the crazy thing was is that they were like, oh, we haven't hired the writer for the songs yet. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just make something up for right now.
In the intro. And then
and then they were like, and then I started getting these checks, and I was like, what is that? They're like, and it's for the song, and this from ASCAP, and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we just never hired a writer because we just used the one you used. I was like, wow.
But can I tell you, is this not proof of the point? You know, just be able to think on the fly. You have to. You have to. You never know.
Or go the extra mile. Always go the extra mile because you never know. But the guy that wrote that, well, this is a side story. Well, first let me talk about what I was going to write. So anyway, that show it got nominated for tons of awards, El Tigre, but then they were like, you know what, I don't think that it's just, you know, Latin shows just aren't resonating with kids, and so we tried it, you know, and it's like, how many white people shows have failed? But you're like, I guess people don't want to hear about white people anymore. We tried. You know, I mean, it's just like, what are you talking? Maybe it's the show? I mean, maybe you could try another show. It's amazing.
Like Wonder Woman is coming out. And I know more people that are just like, I can't wait to see Wonder Woman. We started a little thread on Twitter, and all of a sudden there's a whole community.
Every VO chick is going to opening night of Wonder Woman. We're all going together. And there's a huge podcast. Yeah.
But the whole philosophy behind it originally was, well, we haven't had like a Wonder Woman or a Black Widow or anything because they're not really, people aren't interested in seeing a female superhero.
Not true. Buffy. I walked away.
Yeah. I think Buffy's perfect. Yeah.
I just wanted a Wonder Woman movie my whole life.
Yes. So maybe this will change now.
And don't forget in DC, Superhero Girls Grade plays Wonder Woman.
I Wonder Woman. And also like some of the
Get your game on. Get your game on. Get your game on.
And what are you? You're the.
I don't know. I'm one of the. I am somebody. I'm like
You sure are.
thunder or lightning. It's a black chick.
Yeah, it was funny because I wanted to go to that. They're organizing like a trip for everybody to go see Wonder Woman, and I was like gonna go, and then I couldn't really find a babysitter. And then my son goes, "It's because you are Wonder Woman, Mom." That's right. It's like because you got to be with your kids. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm gonna.
Gotta come. Yeah. Weekend. Gotta go. We're gonna march for truth.
Is the March for Truth that same night?
That's the next day.
Okay, we should do something like that.
There's already a great Wonder Woman movie.
There's already what?
There's already a great Wonder Woman movie that DC Animated Universe made.
DC animated.
Yeah.
DC animated, yeah.
Yeah.
With Kerry Russell.
Lauren McGregor directed it. It's like it's like one of Bruce Timm's apprentices.
And I think too, my best friend is an actress named Tamara Taylor, who's used to be on a show called Bones, and she played a black Wonder Woman in a DC alternate. They did like an alternate universe, of course. They did an alternate
like, it's
fucking
not this universe.
It's not this universe. Don't worry. It's the Bizarro world. But she played. So weird. She did the voice of the black Wonder Woman actually. Character. Yes. Right there. Horrible. No, that's the best question. That's the best question because I'll tell you what, the voiceover community is this big. It's really tiny, and I don't know if it's because we're not seen, and for the most part we are anonymous, but it does certainly extract some of the ego that may infiltrate being on camera. And so what you have is a lot of humble, kind, authentic people that you
We'll tell you about it every day.
Well,
Like, I'm
yes.
humble, I'm kind.
I am so authentic. No, but the truth is that these are just people that I want to hang out with on purpose. We share our real lives with each other. Sometimes I can't wait to get to work because I can't wait to talk to my friends.
We're doing this show that we can't talk about, and as a director, I get to sit, and a lot of the times, a lot of shows they don't require, but there's celebrities and not everybody's schedules line up. So you end up doing one actor at a time, which is a wonderfully intimate and awesome experience. But when you get that radio play of having a full cast, everybody there, I have the best seat in the house to watch the best show ever performed, because it won't stay this way. It'll be edited and cut, and I always do 2 passes. All right, give us one, and then the second one, go to town. You know, it's like, give us one for the writers, and everything, and then play. Make it your own, add your own stuff, you know, keep it clean, otherwise we can't use it. But there's something about that lightning in a bottle that you hit when you get a cast record on anything. I remember seeing a Fairly Odd Parents cast record, and it's just the magic of this radio show, and just hearing it in its pure form is just a wonderful, wonderful gift. To listen to these people and us all interact together it's magical. It's really amazing. It's like the old radio plays, you know? When all of this started, it was radio. You'd sit around a box, and instead of tweeting 140 characters of hate, you would sit there and listen to these amazing actors, and with sound effects of lightning, a guy on a saw, bending a saw for the lightning and everything else. It's pure storytelling. So to me, I just think voiceover is an amazing. There's a great John DiMaggio did. He's Bender on Futurama. I know that voice. Check it out, because it talks a lot about. It gives us a face, but it also talks a lot about the community, and I think and what it's like, and how generous the community really is, because
He's the daddy of our community. Johnny is the daddy of our community. I mean, I had this weird stalker show up in a parking lot once. Like, I was going into a session, and this guy like walking was like, you talked to me on Twitter. I know you on Twitter. And I was like, oh my god. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm going in. And then I was like, John, there's somebody in the parking lot. He's like, where? And like, I just like left the microphone and I was like, God, I don't think my own dad would do that. He's not old enough to be our dad, because he's only like, I think he might even be younger than me. But we won't talk about that, because he's my daddy.
It's an amazing community, and if you ever get a chance to come in and listen, just try it out. Listen, next time you watch a cartoon, just close your eyes and listen to it. And that's what it's like to do what we do. And to see it live, and to see it come out of these people is just mind-blowing. Tom Kenny makes my brain split in 2 and peels it off, and I stand on the precipice of, do I go over the waterfall and never be able to recover? Yes, I choose to go over the waterfall and just cry with laughter, because...
Too bad he's such a dick, though.
I know, he's a terrible human being, no talent.
No, he's like the nicest person you will ever meet in your life. Like, he does things for people like that. I'm like, you're what? You're volunteering with the nuns or whatever? And he's like, well, they asked me to. And I'm always like, God, I must come off as a real jerk, because I'm like, I'm busy, I can't.
No, it's like him and Kari Wahlgren are just like, hey, Kari, there's a person. Where? Tell me where. I will help him. No. Like there's a boy who's I think this young boy had ALS, and he was going to pass away pretty soon. And they contacted Steve, and Steve, they said also Kari Wahlgren is like his favorite female voice actor, and he's getting to a point that he can't talk anymore, and Steve went up to Kari and just said, so Kari, there's this boy, and he's got ALS, and Kari said, where is he? When can we go? And like that, and they changed his life, and he changed their lives. So it's just, it's amazing. Steve's a terrible human being.
And Kari's so good too, man. She is so good.
I directed her in Wolf's Rain like 3,000 years ago when she was just starting, and to see her now is like, this is my girl's all grown up.
Your baby's all grown up. And it was so funny, because I was saying that not a lot of amazing people. I mean, like, some people are like, I want to do voiceovers, and I think, well, good, and I tell them what they need to do, and usually only like 1 out of the 50 people that I talk to that year actually does the things that I told them they need to do. And then I say, like, if you get your tape and everything, I will, if I think it's good, I will pass it along. And really hardly anybody ever actually does that. But I was saying that, there's always room for somebody who's really talented. Like, if you're really, really talented and you feel like you can do it better than the people that are working now, or at least as good as them, there's room for you. But I say, like, only maybe every 10 years that I find somebody like that. Like Kari, when I first met her, I was like, oh, she's gonna work a lot. She's incredible. And then also now, oh yeah, Eric Bauza, amazing, yeah. But recently, Trevor Duvall, he's incredible. Yeah, I know. He was working all the time in Canada, and then he moved to LA, and I met him. I was like, wow, you're going to be there. And sometimes there's girls that are really good, but there was one girl that was really good, but then she was kind of a bitch. And so we never saw her again. At first I was like, oh God, she's really good. I need to watch out for her. And then she was just an asshole, and I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to work. She's not going to be very good. So I don't
Very
work.
true. I've tried it. It doesn't, they didn't like it.
Community doesn't support assholes. The on-camera does.
Yes.
They do.
Because there are enough people, as
Yeah, they
Ray
like
said, that
divas.
could do the same voice, but that are just as good actors, that I would rather work with someone who may not be that perfect, someone just a little bit who's wonderful to work with. Because I know I can
It
work
ruins
with
the vibe. Like, I mean, like when you're making magic and when you're in the radio play and there's this one person who's just like, nobody likes him, you can just feel it in the room. There was one guy that used to like scoop parts all the time. Like he'd go, I could do that. I could do that voice. Do you want me to give it a try? Like after the person's trying to like, and especially when you see your fellow actor trying to hone in on something, and then to have some person go, oh, I could do it. I do it all the time. I do, it's like.
Can I take a crack at that?
Oh, that's rude. Don't ever do that. Oh my God.
Terrible.
That's a no-no.
And that person was just so, he was really, really talented, but he was so not very well liked.
I used to have actors like, who did you to get this job? Because I've been directing for a long time. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I know.
Yeah. I mean, who
That
did
is
you
just
though?
part
Who
of
did you
being a
know?
woman. And that's, I don't want to get too soapboxy, but it's true. It's true. It's just, except for the assumption of, I have an MFA in acting. We're a very good university, but my question that I get asked, or that I used to get asked when I first started directing was, who did you sleep with to get this? And I'm like, yeah, because that's the only way I know how to get a job.
Somebody else also said that I got the job of Mandy by sleeping with the guy that created the show, which I wear. She's hot. But Maxwell Adams, hot shit. Anyway, but the funny thing was is that he actually had his wife playing the part. When I was like, no, the person that I replaced was sleeping with him. She just wasn't very good at the part, but he really, she was his wife, and I think he's not with her anymore. So I was like. I was like, good thing that happened. You would have been like divorcing your lead actress. So, yeah.
You brought up having an MFA. How important would you say that is to be trained versus untrained as far as like how you work with that?
Well, Steve and I are going to start teaching. We've done a couple classes, and I think because Steve Bloom is the love of my life, and we've been working together forever, and we've been with other people all our lives, and now, after me stalking him for years, going, oh, we need a 15-year-old girl sound. Steve Bloom would be good for that. Put him in the show all the time. Oh my gosh. I think, you know what? I think Steve Bloom would be very good for the baby in this show. We've got great allowance. I think Steve's
She's like,
your
I've got
choice.
openings that need to be filled.
That's right.
Steve Bloom does the job.
Can do it. So Steve comes from a purely organic. He never studied a day in his life, and he's just a naturally brilliant actor. I came from the school of I need to study, mostly because I was too terrified to go out into the world and actually do it. So I went to grad school to get away from, I love you, New Jersey, but I needed to find my own path, right? And that kept me, away from the craziness of my wonderful family, and continued me figuring out who I was, because I was definitely in a place that I didn't know who I was. And if I didn't know how to use my voice, what I sounded like, who the heck I was, everything we do starts from ourselves. And if you don't know who you are, it gives you a much stronger place to start from if you know who you are, and if you can. A lot of these acting classes are really just therapy. Seems like when I look back on it now, we're gonna tear away everything that's you, and then we're gonna build you back up again. Like, okay. But for me, it was a good choice, and I love Shakespeare. I loved being on stage, and I couldn't really do that without the classical training, and I loved it. I actually hated it at the time, but looking back on it now, I use all of it. I don't think it's necessary. Most important thing is, however you can become an actor. That may not necessarily mean taking classes. It helped me. Taking improv helped me. So find out how you work as an actor, and how you can learn as much as humanly possible, and do that. everybody's different. Everybody's got a different way to get to where we are, you know. So, my pleasure.
We should get this guy in the middle has been raising his hand forever. I'm sorry, but we'll get to you next.
This question is mainly for Cree. First of all, I love you on Whole by Ginger as Miranda.
I had to kill Callan. Yeah, I heard your mother's in the hospital. It's hilarious.
Brandon hates me as a monkey. I really wanted to be Ginger. I was really sad when I didn't get that one.
I have a funny story about that.
So, Cree, I know that you're also a singer.
Yes.
And I know you originally did the theme song for Whole by Ginger.
I did. I got replaced. Yeah, that's bullshit.
So, what was the story behind that?
Oh, I just wasn't popular enough at the time, so they replaced me. I mean, it's just, I think Macy Gray. Yeah, Macy Gray. I think it became Macy Gray. I mean, you know, that's just shit happens. What are you gonna do? I still get the check. Yeah, I mean, just. Oh God, I don't. Someone once told me that something is something. Someone once told me the grass is much greener on the other side. And then what? Something that told me. What? And then what? And then what? And then what's the big kick?
Different but exactly the same.
What is it? Oh right. Till further notice, I'm in between. I don't even remember this shit. Don't smoke weed. Don't smoke weed. I'm like fucking Memento. I don't remember anything that happened yesterday. But girl, you nailed it. I feel like Diana Ross up here. You said.
How would you get it? No, she
Yeah. That's a great question. I do. I mean, I think, and I also sung the theme song for All Grown Up for Rugrats, and yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I did it for another one too. That's right. That's right. Elma was wonderful. Right? Yeah.
I wanted that Ginger part so freaking bad. I just love the script, like the whole show.
That was
I just
a good
wanted
show.
to be on that show.
As Told by Ginger was a good show.
Yeah, and they auditioned everybody for that Ginger part, and I read it, and I thought I did a really good job. And my one friend, Melissa Disney, who I did the singing telegrams with, remember how I was doing my singing telegram stories yesterday? Melissa Disney and I used to do singing telegrams in San Diego at the same time. We never knew until we met each other in LA. Like, I was like, oh, I used to do work for Livewire. She's like, me too. And I was like, you're Melissa, because, you know, they used to say, like, well, it's either you or we'll give it to Melissa, you know, anyway. But she hadn't done a lot of, like, she did a lot of promo stuff, but she hadn't gotten, like, a regular part on a cartoon that she and we were having lunch, and she was like, you know, I just really want, like, a regular, like, go in and just, like, have a show that's, like, my show where I'm, like, on it, and people can go, oh, you're the girl from that show. And I was like, you'll get it. It's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for you. So then, you know, I kept calling my agent, like, have you heard anything about Ginger? I felt like I did a really good job. She said, no, I haven't heard anything. So then anyway, I know. You want it too bad. She's like, men, but the men that you don't get is the ones that you're like, are you going to call me?
Yeah, there's the ones you know, but when you come home and you go, oh man, I took a dump in there, and they're like, you got it.
I cried after my Pokemon audition. I thought I was never going to get called in for anything ever again.
It's like the mob kiss of death. I know. Well, so then I had lunch with her later, and she was like, guess what? I got a part. And I was like, you did? You finally got a part? She's like, yeah, I got a part. What are you guys talking about?
Nothing. I'm sorry. This is my career now. So there.
No, I was just saying, she took me to lunch and told me that she got this part, and I was like excited to hear what the part was. I was like, what part is it? And she was like, I got Ginger. And I was like, you did? Oh my God. That's wonderful. Good for you. Like everything was like in my happy high voice. You know, we were not really, you were like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, are you high okay or regular okay? Anyway, but I was really happy for her. And then I got the Brandon part, and I ended up on the show. So suck on it, Vanessa Marshall.
Any more questions out there? Oh, yeah, Miss Green. And then
under the impression that you either only went to school for it or you naturally had an instrument. So you do act.
Well, when I was in grad school, I did books on tape for the blind. You do it for free, but you get behind a mic and you learn mic technique, which is really important for what we do. And it also gets you listening to yourself, which is also a very important thing that you need to learn how to do is to listen to yourself and have them play it back if you can. And then it also builds your stamina, because a lot of the sessions that we do, unless you're Jess Harnell and you only have 2 lines, I love you, Jesse, you would completely back me on that. You would, they're 4-hour sessions. And if it's a video game, it's just you. So you need to build up stamina for your voice. Just like if you're a runner, it's like you got to build it up slowly. You know, it's like couch potato to 5K, which I did, you know, so you've got to learn how to do that. And the best way you can do that, you can buy a little blue mic and plug it into your phone and start recording yourself every day. And then start playing with your instrument and see, don't play with yourself. Well, you can. But, I do recommend that, actually. It's a good time. And that's also another way to get to know yourself. But in this instance, play with your vocal cords in terms of like explore how high you can go, or how low, or how deep, or how anything, you know, like Kate Mulgrew, and start listening to fun voices on the TV, and it's just like, ooh, listen to Kate Mulgrew, she's sort of fantastic. Or Katharine Hepburn, oh my God, you know, and you start playing, and it's, again, you're back in the sandbox, but you're playing with your own instrument. And to figure out, and the more you do it, it's like any exercise, the easier it will become, and the broader your range will get. So if you don't have access to voiceover classes, you can do it on your own. I also highly recommend, write it down, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. D. Bradley Baker is a genius. D. Bradley and I started off in LA in Beetlejuice's Rockin' Graveyard Review up at Universal Studios. And back in the day, D was playing Beetlejuice. I was the Bride of Frankenstein, and he had a little videotape recorder that in between, we did 5 shows in the morning, and then the next team did 5 shows in the afternoon. And in between, in our 15 or 20 minutes in between, D would be doing voices in a tape recorder. And I would be on stage, it was like, hey BJ, because that was the name, Beetlejuice, not being gross. Hey BJ, how would Darth Vader, you know, what would Vader, and I would start giving requests to D, because he was doing all the sounds back in that he's doing now. And year after year after year of practicing and exploring and playing, he has become the new Frank Welker, which Frank does every animal, every monster sound that you've ever seen. And D is now taken over this, and he's got a masterclass online. It's all free because he got really tired of answering the question, how do I become a voice actor? So he said, go to this website, and it's a $10,000 masterclass for free. So after you go through, and he's got all kinds of exercises and things to help out. So I would recommend that. There are resources for you to find if you're not, look, I'm always a proponent. If you want to do this, you need to be where the work is. You're near New York. There's work in New York, for sure. Definitely. So if you don't have immediate access to voiceover classes, the internet actually does good things. So check out iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Yay! Yay.
So, my beautiful people, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. As VO chicks, we really appreciate it, and it's been a delight, a real delight. And